Okay. Yeah. Good evening. Okay. So we are actually now live. I welcome each and every one of us to this live stream, and it's actually my very first live stream. I'll call it my maiden live stream. Maybe I'm a little bit camera shy, so I don't like to go live, or I don't really like to put my face on camera. But then I have to do this one because maybe I'm getting a little bit busy these days, and I've not really been handling the class effectively. So I'm just thinking of ways by which we can make things a little bit more easy for ourselves. Because sometimes when I need to write my script or lectures, I will have to take a whole lot of time to do that. So, and I'm seeing that my time is not actually permitting me to do all of that. So I just needed to think of something that we can always do to that will suffice for that. So that's why I'm actually coming up with this idea of having to live stream some of our lectures, or having to talk to us straight on whatsoever topic we need to say. For example, when I need to type a lecture, sometimes it takes at least 3 hours, typing and editing. It sounds crazy, but then sometimes I just need to get thorough about whatsoever I'm actually doing. That is the reason why I think it takes that long time. Some other person may just pick up their phone and type and send and all that. So it differs from one person to another. Sorry for the lighting is not all that good. The lighting is not all that good because I'm having to how do I put it down? Come up with something, just a light source for us to be able to have this conversation. There's no light apparently, and I don't want to put on the gen because of noise interference, and then light interference and noise interference rather, and maybe I'm a little bit sitting close to an Oz giant fan, so it's gonna make a whole lot of noise. So that's why I think the lighting is now better because I have another source of light coming from another angle, so we can see ourselves much more better. So I'm having like 14 person on this live. I really appreciate you joining. I thank you so much for being part of this live stream. I don't expect that we have this turnout because it's actually our first time. So let's just go straight to the point. Because I would not want to take much of our time, I want this to be short and concise and straight to the point. So this issue of Kaolin has become a thing, a reoccurrence, or better still, a question that people keep asking again and again. And I understand perfectly well the reason for that's coming up because of some of the things that have been said about the chemical in question, which is Kaolin. So let's just begin to say some certain things about that. Kaolin, just like we know. So the question that was actually asked about Kaolin is, or better still, let's take it from the standpoint of the school of thought that says when Kaolin is actually added to colored paints, it causes, or exterior colored paints, it makes it to fade on time. If any paint that is actually yeah, you want to make use outside, and you had kaolin, is going to make it fade on time. What are my own thoughts about it based on analytical research, and or conclusion, based on my findings. Let me just put it out. Based on my findings, some of the things that I've come to know about this. Hello, I don't know if you are actually um, getting me or hearing me very well. I don't know. Can we signify if we are actually on the same page, and you are hearing me? Can we just signify so that I'm not just talking to myself? So that I'm not just talking to myself. Please, if you're online and you are actually hearing me, kindly signify by dropping an emoji or saying yes, we can hear you, so that I know that we are actually hearing me, please. So I will actually be checking in the comment section to see our reaction to that, so that I can actually get a feedback from you, so that I will not be talking to myself. And okay, I guess we are not having much persons online again. We are having about four, so that probably would be because of what is it called, network and all that. So please help me to drop a comment in the comment section to know if you are actually hearing me as I'm actually talking now. Please endeavor to drop a comment in the comment section, letting me to know you're actually getting. Let me have a feedback from you so that I can know if you're actually hearing me. So, please, I want a feedback so that I know if you are actually hearing me. Well, I'm not really getting a feedback, so I will just assume that you guys are actually hearing what I'm saying. So I will just continue with uh, uh with my uh with the, I'll just continue. I'll just continue. So I will assume that we are actually hearing me. Now let's just go straight to the point about the subject matter, which is Kaolin. How good it is. No, no. When you add it to paints that is meant to be used outside. So how good it is for exterior paints. For exterior paint. So I would say it depends on this. Okay, no. Let me just come from the let me come from the place of my own findings, my own research, the things, the works that I've actually done on that, and we can now begin to draw our conclusion based on that. So, Kaolin has different type. That's the very place that we need to begin with. Okay, we know that Kaolin is actually part of the fillers that we can actually use in order to extend our paints and all that, and reduce some of the most important, or some of the cost, no, some of the expensive material, I see some other persons that are actually coming online, and then um the comment section is actually becoming more uh is actually coming on again. Please, if you are hearing me, please endeavor to drop an emoji stating that you can hear me, so that I will not be talking to myself. So we all know that Kaolin is actually an extender that we can use to reduce some of the expensive chemicals or material in paints, such as titan, titan. Just like we also know that kaolin is an extender, is actually a filler, and then it's actually a pigment as well. It's pigment. It's actually a pigment as well, that we can know, or better still, is actually classified under pigment also. Just like we know that pigment is anything that can actually scatter light, we have zinc oxide and every other thing that can actually effectively scatter light. So some of those fillers are actually classified or categorized under fillers too, just like calcium carbonate is actually classified under that section as well, being pigment. But because of the light scattering abilities that they have, titan seems to stand out because of its light scattering ability. But then every other fillers also can actually be considered as pigments. You get it? So it can actually be classified as pigments. But then those are not the bones of contention, because we all know that, and we are actually familiar with all of those talks. So we know, we have that knowledge. We are actually equipped with that knowledge. So what we are trying to find out is if kaolin can actually be used in paints that will be used for exterior painting. Then my answer would definitely be yes. We can actually add kaolin in the production of external paints, or paints that want to be used outside. And the fear has always been, if I include kaolin in my production, uh, it tends to allow that paint fade very quickly. That's very correct. And that is because of some of the things that I will actually be highlighting in the course of this discussion. Okay, that's true, partially true, because a statement or a fact is said to be true, when it can actually apply in various contexts and it will remain unchanged. So a fact can actually be said to be true, to be universal, if it applies in various contexts and it does not change. It doesn't change in various contexts. But then the fact that I said that when you apply kaolin in your production, in paint production, that wants in paints that wants to be used externally, it will fade on time. Why I said is especially true boils down to the fact that we have different type of kaolin. Let's take it from there. We have different types of kaolin, and they are structured differently. They are structured differently. For this class to be very concise and short, I will most likely not talk about the various form that we have. I will just talk about maybe like three types, and then I will isolate the one that can actually be used externally. Maybe that will really help us to be able to go out and do our own personal research. I believe in, when we have discussions like this, we can always go out and make our own research, our own findings about it. Because one thing is, nobody knows it all. There is a limit to how much I know, and there is a limit to how much you know. But then when we actually collaborate on the basis of knowledge and uh, constructive criticism of knowledge, we then advance in the place of knowledge. So that's one thing I will actually want to highlight here, so that we can have we can actually be on the same page in terms of knowledge and our findings. So now I will actually want to say we can apply or we can use kaolin in our production, irrespective of where that paint wants to be used, based on knowledge, based on product knowledge, based on product knowledge. I'm re-emphasizing that because for a reason, because not all type of kaolin will be good for in your paints that you intend to use externally. So that's the reason why I'm making laying emphasis on the fact that there are types of kaolin, and then there are types that can actually be used in your paint that will not that you not have problem when you apply it externally. So what are the types of kaolin that we have? And mind you, kaolin can also be said to be or the other names that it is actually called is china clay. And funny enough, there is this finding I made, but then I'm still making my research to really understand the type of kaolin it is, because the very popular aluminum silicate that we know is said to be China clay, which is also kaolin. So some other person calls it China clay, and then some other person calls it kaolin. And funny enough, just like I said, it is said that the chemical composition of kaolin, the chemical structure is the combination of aluminum and then silicate, which is silicon. So yeah, let's just get that. That's just for knowledge base. And the reason why I actually brought that in is because of the fact that there is a an assertion on aluminum silicate, but then we are not actually going there. Let's just leave that aside to be a subject of discourse for another day. So let's just stick to why we are here, the reason why we are here, which is kaolin being used in your production because you want to make use of that paint externally. You want to apply it for external use. You get it? So let's begin with types of kaolin. First, we have what we call hard kaolin. Hard kaolin. These are very dense kaolin. I will not really go in depth into the how do I put technicality of it. I will not go into deep technicality of their structure, their platelets, and all that. So I will not just go. I just want you to have it in mind that we have this type of kaolin, and then you can do your own personal research in order to know more about it. No, I haven't said that we have kaolin or hard china clay, which means it is very very dense. It is dense. I'm trying to look at it is actually dense. It is actually dense and not really good, should I say that, for production as such. And then we have soft scouting, which is majorly available in the market, in the open market for our use, popular kaolin and all that we all know. So these are soft kaolin. They are soft kaolin. So they are soft kaolin. They are better than hard kaolin, just like you will be able to attest to the fact, because most of us must have used it. We'll be able to attest to the fact that they are no, they are good, based on their ability to extend your pigments, based on leveling, for those who that make use of it in mass production. It helps to level and all that. Based on serving as rheologifier, as part of thickener, it also helps with that also. You get it? So no, it's actually better than hard kaolin. So it's what some of us are actually used to, and then we've been using it and all that. Now, the other one I want to talk about is the calcinated kaolin. We have it both as we have no we have calcinated calcium, we have calcinated kaolin as well. So this is the one that is actually highly recommended for production of paints that will be used for external use. That would be for external use. So you can make use of this without having the fear that it's going to make your is going to cause your production to fade. So now we now have two school of thought. The first one is, when you make use of kaolin in your production, it causes your no your color to fade on time, because some of the kaolins that we are actually using are the normal kaolin, which does not really have UV resistance. So it breaks down easily, it disintegrates easily because of the activities of weather elements. It helps to disintegrate it, and because of the high level of water absorption, it can also disintegrate it. So but then when we now begin to modify some of this kaolin, which is one of the modified kaolin, is calcinated, they calcinate it. Just like I said, I will not go into the technicality of all those jargon that I'm actually using. Then you can make your own personal research on that so that you get to know more about it. So for this video not to be too elongated, so I will not be doing a whole lot of technical explanation on some of those things. So just go do your own research about it, the types of kaolins that we have. Most likely what will come up, what you see is that we have hard kaolin, we have soft kaolin, we have calcinated kaolin, and we have delaminated kaolin. The laminated kaolin. These are just surface treatments to kaolin that you have. Just like we have it with the case of calcium also. We have it. No, virtually all the pigments can actually be modified. Can actually be modified. It's just that we don't have knowledge, product knowledge. That's why we tend not to use them, or we tend not to know about them, or better still, because of no some of the things that our vendor will always supply us based on demand and supply. So we are not exposed to some of these things. It will take a little bit of research for you to be able to get to know them. I'm really sorry for this lightning issue. No, the other source of light that was actually brought for me is gone out because it was not really charged. So I'm actually left with one. So I'm really very sorry. But then it is not really bad that we can still actually communicate. You get it? So yeah, I'm seeing a comment here now that can we actually use imported kaolin for satin? Now, I will actually I will come back to that. Let me just finish the explanation on some of the things I'm actually saying, the types of kaolin. So it is very, very important that we know that we have different types of kaolin, so that we can actually bury this argument of can I use it, can I not use it. Now, based on what the end product, based on the purpose you want it to serve, will now dictate what type of kaolin you are actually getting. You get it? So I said we have hard kaolin, we have soft kaolin. Most of the kaolins that we have there will actually be soft kaolin. Soft kaolin, very fine, soft to touch, and all that, less dense. In other words, it is not as weighty as hard kaolin. You get it? Because of a little modification and all that. You get it? So that's just that about that. Now, the reason why I'm actually singling out calcinated kaolin is the fact that it can be mixed used in paint that will be applied, or that will be mixed used externally, or that will be applied, or that will be used for no, that will be for external use. In other words, you want to use it to paint external walls, you want to use to paint your fence and all that, so you can make use of calcinated kaolin. That is because it has actually been modified, and then there's improved UV resistance because of the modification. It has actually been modified for the platelets to be able to withstand UV degradation and what have you, the weather elements and every other thing. Saline, which is some area are actually prone to salt, because of probably the nearness to, or the water table there is, what have you. I will not be actually saying much about that because I don't really know much about that. But then, because of quote and unquote the weather element, or element of weather or of nature, it's probably will assist in the degradation and all that. So, but because this type of kaolin called calcinated kaolin has actually been modified, you can now have improved UV resistance. In other words, it will not permit the degradation that is caused by UV light or UV ray. So I don't know if someone is actually getting that. So we are not having so much person on this live, but probably because of network and all that, or better still, because this is actually the first time we are actually doing this. But then it is not bad for a start. It is not bad for a start. We will actually be improving as time goes on. You get it? So that's just basically that about that. So when you are actually making use of calcinated calcium, no, kaolin rather, in your production. I want us to go and dig deep into the calcinated kaolin. There probably might be other kaolins that you can actually use based on modification and all that. But then the one that I know that can actually be used both for external paint and no, internal paint is calcinated kaolin. So with that, you don't have problem, or you don't have to be anxious about UV degradation, or uh, your color being hotter than every other thing. So you are good to go when you use this type of kaolin. But then what is majorly available? What is majorly available in the market will be our normal regular soft kaolin. Just like I explained earlier that we have hard kaolin and we have soft kaolin. So it's probably will be um, no our regular soft kaolin. But then when you have this product knowledge, you cannot begin to ask. You get it? You cannot begin to ask. Just like the question that was asked there, can we use imported kaolin for satin? I will not be able to say. Uh, but then it is possible. It is very, very possible that we use some of this thing in the production of satin. Funny enough, just like I've explained, now we are actually diverting to something else, but because it is still related to kaolin, that's why I need to explain it. That's why I need to talk about it, because it still actually have something to do with kaolin. That's why I'm actually attending to that question. Can we use imported kaolin in satin? Funny enough, we may be able to use it, but I haven't tried it. But then we have tried the use of cashew in the production of satin. So sometimes we say some certain things that are not grounded on, or that doesn't have basis, that we cannot use calcium in satin and all that. As much as it is true, just like I said, in context, in what context are we using that in what context are we affirming or de-affirming, if there's any word like that, that claim that it cannot actually be used uh, based on what context, you get it, on the basis of the fineness of the pigment you are using. There can be a measure of it that you can add. Um, one of the popular brand, one of the popular brand, I guess. No, okay. Let me not just say that. Let me not go into that so that I won't implicate myself. So they actually make use of cashew in their satin, but a selected type of calcium in their satin. So I will not do away with if we can actually use kaolin or not in satin. Now, what will now determine if that can actually be used is the fineness. We have talked about particle size over time, and I've actually repeated that lecture again and again. The fineness of whatever we actually pigment we are actually using, the particle size of that. So when we are using when we use calcium in satin, we are actually picking the extra fine calcium to be used. One of the popular brand that you can make use of is the omia 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 2. That's micron 2, omia micron 2. So it is very fine, just uh like your titan. So you can use a measure of it in it, at least no, at least 1 kg, in order to just increase the opacity of your production. Because just like I said, they are actually for extending. They are for you used to extend in order to reduce some of the expensive chemicals. So for to answer that question, there is a possibility there. It's just that it's for us to actually try it out. Just try it out, and let's hear your feedback. You get it? Let's hear your feedback. So and that's just that about that. Now, the other side of the question would be, can we make use of kaolin in colored paint, and what type of, no what type of colored paints can we use it in, and what type of colored paints can we not use it in? Two question in one. So I will most likely say, for vibrant colors, colors that are very, very vibrant, that you want, it to shine, and no, not the word shine. That just came out, no, no, unguarded, not shine, but vibrant colors, color that should appear very vibrant. You don't want to make use of calcium. The reason why, no, rather, I'm sorry, you don't want to make use of kaolin. The reason why I said that is because most of the kaolin that we are actually exposed to are the types of kaolins that I've actually mentioned earlier. It's either hard kaolin or soft kaolin. So you want to make use of it. And another side of it is that we have very brilliant white kaolin, and then we have the normal cream color type of kaolin. You get it? So somehow it can actually impart on the color strength, if there's anything like that. But I am trying to communicate this effectively, but I don't know if you're actually getting it. The color strength in terms of the sharpness, that's the word I'm actually looking for. In terms of the sharpness of that color. So there is every tendency that it dulls the color. So any color that you want, that you want it to be very, very vibrant, you may likely have to do away with that color, with kaolin and that color. Thank you very much, Mr. Chukun Som Chuku. Thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate. I welcome you to the live. You're welcome, sir. Uh, Okay, he said he came late, so no problem. We can always go back to watch this live, as it will be uploaded to the YouTube after the section. So we can always go back there to understand some of this our discussion on Kaolin. Yeah, it's actually going to be uploaded, but then it depends on how fast YouTube will be able to do that, because of now, the type of networks that we use in a country called Nigeria is pathetic. So, let's just go back to the discussion. So, the vibrancy of that color will determine if you'll be able to use kaolin in that color. You get it? Um, Based on the fact that some of the kaolins that we have are just the regular and normal kaolins, until you begin to now intentionally look for some of the modified kaolin, like calcinated, delaminated. How do I get to know it? He said, how do you know that? I mean, that's the question you now be asking yourself. How do I get to know it? You begin to, now begin to be conscious about it, asking your vendors what type of kaolin. Let me have the bag. Let me see the bag. Most importantly, some of these modified kaolins are going to be imported kaolins. So that's one thing you want to get at the back of your mind. They are going to be imported kaolins. So the description, the type of kaolin, if they are actually modified or not, will be actually written on the bag or specified. So, but then one thing I want us to do, don't take my word for it. I want us to go back and research this thing diligently, so that we can have an informed discussion some other time when we are actually talking about this. We can have an informed discussion. So I want us to go and study about it. I want us to go and ask about the types of kaolins that are actually available. You get it? So these are some of the kaolins that are actually available, and then their uses. I've actually selected calcinated kaolin, hammering on that because it will function well in both paint that want to be used internally and for paint that want to be used externally. Why? Because it has actually been modified. It can weather UV ray or UV light, and disrupt is the activity of the degradation targeted at you know the molecules of your binders and all that. So we are not going into all of those jargon and all that, but we just want to clear the ground, or the floor on whether we can actually make use of kaolin or not. So we can make use of it in any type of paint, in whether external you use or internal you use, you get it. So but then it's going to be based on the type of kaolin you're actually making use of. It's going to be based on the type of kaolin that we are actually making use of. I really want to appreciate everyone that has stayed till this time. This is about 35 minutes long section. I really want to appreciate you having to come on this live for us to have a discussion. But then, okay, I will think of some other things or some other platform we can always use so that we can have a two-way conversation, so that it's not just going to be one hand conversation, so that we can always interact when maybe Zoom or maybe Google Meet, so that we can always interact and have interesting conversation, because this is I think this is even much more better than the one way lecture notes that I always drop weekly or on no weekends, and just some person will read it and some other will not read it, so that we can know those that are actually serious about improving themselves and improving their production. So just like I said, Kaolin can actually be used in paint that wants to be used externally or internally. You get it? Just ensure you know the type of kaolin you are actually making use of. That is very, very important. So I will not actually be talking about every other type of kaolin, but then I think those three that I've actually mentioned is actually a good starter for us, so we can just go and research more on it, so that we can get to understand Kaolin much more better. So that's just that about that. And you said what kind of colors can we make use of Kaolin with? No, we have actually clarified the side of what type of colors you don't want to use Kaolin in. I just mentioned every vibrant colors that are vibrant, colors that you want to know, that are warm, colors that are sharp, that you want to to have it's very to retain its sharpness. You don't want to interfere with it. Okay, what example we are thinking about? Maybe pink. We are thinking about just vibrant color, red, post office red and every other thing. We are just thinking about those um, type of color. But then with the advent of calcinated type of kaolin, you likely may be able to use it in that, because they are more purer, they are more finer, and every other thing. They may not likely interfere. This is just for knowledge base. The reason why I'm actually sharing this is for knowledge base, so that we can know what is obtainable and what not. So that is that about that. But then let's now go back to the colors that you can actually use kaolin in. Colors that are healthy. You can begin to make use of kaolin in colors that are healthy: beige, pastel, um, no, gray, especially deep gray and every other colors. Those are colors that you can actually make use of um, kaolin in it. So that's just basically it. But then another thing I will actually want to point out is just one of the things that have actually been reoccurring. That when we have enough binder in your production, you may likely not fall victim of color fading and every other thing. The reason is there are packets of spaces in your binder that can tightly fit into your pigment and hold them tightly. You get it, and hold them tightly. I know, uh, and slow down the rate of degradation. Let me explain that. It slows down the rate of degradation. So if you have good binder in your production, you may likely not have problem with color fading. You get it. But then there are chemicals that are actually dedicated to paints not fading and all that. It's just that we have not been able to really get it again in Nigeria, based on the fact that just like I said earlier on, demand and supply. It is what the customers are actually asking for, that the this thing will get, that our vendors are actually getting, which make it a whole lot of economic sense. That it is what your customers are actually asking for, that you're actually getting, the likes of UV absorber and UV blocker. We are not actually getting them again in the market. So I'm most likely looking for alternative that we can actually use. And once I have a breakthrough on that note, I will let us know about it. I'll most likely let us know about it. You get it. So I'm not the type that holds information, so I will most likely and most definitely talk about it once I'm able. But one of the things that we have actually been using to stop that from happening is binder. We just increase our binder and ensure we have adequate binder in it. So it works. It works. It works. So that's just that about that. So another question that I'm actually seeing popping up in the comment section is, what is the difference between kaolin and talc? The reason why I'm attempting all of this question is because it's still in relation to kaolin. Now there are difference, or there is a difference between kaolin and talc. You get it? Talcum powder. I think there's what is it called now? Is it magnesium silicate or something like that? That's talcum powder. But kaolin is aluminum silicate. You get it? So there are two different chemicals. One is actually used as anti-scratch. It also acts as water resistance. A pigment that can be used for water resistance, or a filler that can actually help improve water resistivity of your paint. So that's just basically what it is. So those two things are actually different from each other. You get it? They are different from each other. So I think we really dealt with Kaolin tonight, so that we don't have too much elongated time here. I really want to appreciate everyone that has actually stayed to this time, and I don't know how we can always get a feedback, because this is my first time of using YouTube Live. Just like I said, I'm a little bit camera shy. I've always been doing away with cameras. I don't like to stay in front of cameras, probably because of the type of person I am, a little bit shy, and because it is very difficult for me to tie my face to one particular thing. So it is very, very difficult for me to tie my face to one particular thing. No, allied chemical is just one of the things that I do. One of the things that I do. So uh, that's just uh, another discussion for another day. So that's just basically it. I don't know if I've been able to answer the question in the hearts of someone tonight concerning Kaolin. But then um, I will still do better some other day by trying to make my own further research on Kaolin and on all that. I'm just talking from the little I know, based on, in fact, I've not really had the time to really go deep into the research on Kaolin and all that. But based on the little knowledge I have about it, so I just have to say, okay, instead of me having to type, it's always very, very tedious for me to just sit down in one place typing and all that and editing and all of that. So Just like I said, it takes me a whole lot of time to do that. I'll just stay there, be thinking of what to write, and then, after writing, I will have to edit and all that before sending it out. Even though some person are not appreciating it, but I want to appreciate everyone that is actually appreciating the little that we are actually doing. Thank you very much, SARS, and thank you very much, Ma, if we are having mass here. But then the comment section is not really moving, so I don't know if I still have any question that I've not touched. Okay, I don't think I have any question that I haven't touched. So I want us to end this section tonight. I really appreciate everyone that has actually come to this live, and then we have the discourse and all that. I'll try to learn more about about this tool that we are using, the YouTube and all that, so that we can have a better experience some other time when we'll be coming live, and then we'll be more prepared. So I know I don't want them to own the gen so that we don't uh, have noise interference, but then some of those things will be looked into so that we can have a better life some other time. I really appreciate everyone that has actually come to this live. So our take home will be that we can use Kaolin. We can use Kaolin in our production, whether we want to use it for external use or we want to it is for internal use. We can make use of Kaolin. I know you can make use of kaolin. It's just that it's just for you to know the type of kaolin you are actually using in your production. It's very, very important that we begin to question the chemicals that we now use. It's not that because that's the way they are actually doing, that's the way we'll be doing it now and forever. No, it shouldn't be like that. You should try to like uh um okay. I really appreciate Mr. Wanchuku is the only one that is actually coming up with no putting something in the comment section for me that is actually acknowledging some of the things I'm actually doing. I really appreciate you, sir. God bless you. I really appreciate you uh, for coming to this life and sharing, being my share leader. Thank you very much. God bless you so much, sir. I really appreciate you. So it shouldn't be production shouldn't be okay. This is the way we are actually doing it now, today and forever. Yesterday, today, and forever. No, it's that's the title of God. Only God is actually accredited that. So, uh, production can change. Things that we had into our production can change, and no one should acclaim or should be no say I know it all. No, 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 no. It shouldn't be. In fact, I don't know so much because the reason why I say I don't know so much is because what you are bragging about is like kindergarten in the very face of some other person because of how advanced they've actually become in their art. Thank you very much, sir. Star Paint. I really appreciate you, sir. Thank you for commending me on that great lecture. Thank you very much, sir, for saying a very encouraging word about that. Thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate you. So I will actually be bringing more. This is actually a crash discussion on Kaolin. I will be coming with better information. Maybe as time will permit, I will have to explain in depth about their structure, their platelets and all that. So that you can know why and why not you can make use of them. So uh, thank you very much for coming. Let's just stop this live at uh, no, 50 minutes. So it will be really cool so that you can actually. I really came late. My network was not okay. Thanks. Oh, Mr. Osita, thank you for coming. I really appreciate your coming, sir. We understand the network. I'm even surprised that my network is a bit stable at this time. And though I've actually been enjoying a bit of stable network these days from MTN. Let's say a big thank you to them. MTN, thank you. That was not to advertise you. If you want me to advertise you, come with your money so I'll do a better job. So that's just basically that about Kaolin. You can make use of Kaolin based on the type of Kaolin you're actually making use of. Just like I said, you can make use of calcium. in satin. I'm repeating that. You can, for emphasis sake, you can make use of calcium to extend your pigment in satin, but it depends on the type of calcium that you need to use. If you like, go and add local uh, what is it called, calcium. You will come back with matte, fine matte, or silk. Eh, that's what you're gonna. It's not even going to be silk. It's going to be matte. So that's just basically it, sir. Thank you very much for coming. I don't know if I can still get one or two questions so that I can actually attend to that in the comment section. Let me see. Let me see. It will be great if we can come here once every weekend to learn more. Yeah, that's actually the idea, Mr. Chuku. Chuku. That's actually the idea. I think this one is even much more easier for me. That I just pour what I know directly instead of having to struggle with grammar and constructions and all that in order to, it's a whole lot of work for me. Oh. But people don't know. You just see the notes and all that, and then they will read in maybe less than 2-3 minutes. What I actually sat down to compose for like 2-3 hours. Yes, it's almost sometimes like that, 2-3 hours, because I'm thinking, I'm researching, I'm okay. Is this thing still in line with the today's practice and all that? Because sometimes we think that we know, and what we're actually running with is yesterday's knowledge, which has actually changed or has been improved on today. So that's just basically that. So we will be coming here regularly. It's not a one time thing. It's not a hit and run thing. We will be coming here regularly for us to have a live section like this at least once a week. When we do, maybe we'll be, I don't know. We just come up with a structure for us to work with, and let me see. It will be great. Okay, I've taken that. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. I really appreciate. Great lecture. Thank you very much, sir. I really came with. Okay, those are just the question. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your time. God bless you, and do have a great night. I think the reason why most persons are not here is because of the network, and that is understandable. But then uh, YouTube will actually upload this uh, this lecture, and then we can always come back to it. I also saying very sorry about the lightning. Okay, I don't even know, this position is even better. Okay, 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 okay. All right, thank you very much. Good night, and have a wonderful night rest. God bless you.